From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.
Hello and happy Friday. Good morning. This is Craig Allison with your Morning Pulse for January 30th. Before we get into our local headlines this morning, question of the day was, the wealthier a household, the more likely they are to have a car with this feature in it. What is it? I was being really silly. I said cup holder. I didn't really know a good answer, but the answer was stick shift, surprisingly. Well, if you want to participate in our question of the day, be sure to put in your guesses on our 1011 Facebook page. We read off your guesses and the answer during 1011 this morning. This being said, we have a lot of local news to get into, so we're going to start things off with our first story this morning. Agencies across Nebraska are continuing their search of a missing pregnant woman from Stromsburg. 26-year-old Hannah Neville was last seen 2 weeks ago on her way to Lincoln to see her boyfriend. This right here, you can see this car was the scene in North Lincoln on the morning of January 16th after law enforcement found Hannah Neville's car engulfed in flames, adding another layer to her disappearance. She's now been missing for 2 weeks, and her family and friends are searching, hoping to bring her home. Investigators say Hannah's boyfriend, Roberto Tanner, left their home in Stromsburg for Lincoln on January 13th after an argument. Hannah would follow 2 days later on January 15th, the last time she was seen. Polk County Sheriff's Department says they haven't heard from the couple at all, leaving Hannah's friends and family with more questions than answers.
It's really scary. I've hardly been able to sleep last night because all I can think about is her and her daughter. I do feel like there is somebody out there that knows something. I mean, I feel it very strongly in my gut. Somebody knows something. Somebody knows where she's at. And if you or anybody you know knows where she's at, please come forward.
More information about Hannah can be seen on our website. She's 5'2" with brown hair and green eyes, and she was last seen with a blue Nike backpack. If you have any information, please call the Polk County Sheriff's Office, which we also have that number on our website, 1011now.com. Your second story, 2 people are in the hospital after a shooting in South Lincoln yesterday evening. Police were dispatched to an apartment complex near 27th and Old Cheney around 6 o'clock. Officers located several shell casings in the parking lot. No one was there when they arrived, but police say 2 adults in their 20s arrived at a nearby hospital around the same time with gunshot wounds. Both shooting victims are expected to be okay. Their injuries are not life-threatening, and officers believe there is a third person involved, but say there's no threat to the public. If you know anything about this shooting, be sure to contact Lincoln Police. You can do so anonymously through the P3 app, by calling Crime Stoppers or leaving a tip at LincolnCrimeStoppers.com. Third story, a chaotic scene caught on camera yesterday afternoon outside Fremont High School when a student was hit by an SUV at a protest. This was that video captured by our partners at News Channel Nebraska. You can see a red SUV with a Trump flag hanging off the back, running into someone before driving away from the scene. Now, this video that's just come up is from our partners in Omaha that also shared this angle of the collision. According to Fremont Public Schools, they say students from high school were holding a walkout in protest of recent ICE actions happening across the country. The state administrators were supervising to ensure students were safe and peaceful. The student hit was taken to the hospital. Governor Pillen responding to the incident by saying, quote, "Here's a fundamental truth we should all agree upon. Political violence, no matter what, is never okay. There's a lot about this particular situation we still need to learn, and we trust that local law enforcement will carry out a thorough and complete investigation." Congressman Mike Flood also saying, quote, "This is not what we do in Nebraska. This is not okay." Video of the girl being hit by a car at the school protest is disturbing. While initial reports say that the girl was alert and talking when she was taken away, we are praying for her and her well-being. The incident needs to be fully investigated by law enforcement. End quote. In our crime tracker this morning, an arrest has been made in a child abuse case we first told you about earlier this week involving a 12-year-old boy who was brought to a Lincoln emergency room this month weighing only 47 pounds. 46-year-old Angela Lowe was arrested at her home on suspicion of felony child abuse, first-degree assault, and false imprisonment. According to police, a nurse reported a possible child neglect, saying his body temperature was only 80 degrees and he was severely underweight. He was airlifted to Children's Hospital in Omaha, where they say he was in septic shock with pneumonia. Police say they believe he has been neglected, starved, and tortured for several months. The boy was not expected to live more than a few days, but currently he remains in critical but stable condition. The child is now in state custody. Lowe is not allowed to contact him. Another update, the man accused of breaking into a Lincoln Elementary School will not spend time behind bars. A judge has found that Charing Tobgale not guilty by reason of insanity. Just over a year ago, he broke into McPhee Elementary with a knife. Luckily, no students or staff were hurt. He faced several charges, including use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony. He will be evaluated at Lincoln Regional Center and has a follow-up hearing scheduled in March. And wrapping things up with your final story, if you haven't already heard about it, my apologies. Let's just cut back to our open camera here on this end. Sorry about that, folks. We'll just cut off onto this update here. Had the wrong video there for a second, but if you haven't already heard about the health update, for the first time since 1990, measles has been confirmed in Lancaster County, and it's known as the most contagious virus in the U.S. with an infection rate of 90%, according to the CDC. Now, the medical facility identifying the case of measles says it was first discovered at a Lincoln office this past Sunday. At the MedElite Urgent Care physician's assistant who diagnosed the case says there's been a lot of similar common cold symptoms this time of year, but she had never seen a case of measles. She says this particular patient had a rash that stood out, and once she suspected measles, the patient was tested and quarantined until a positive test result came back. Now, MedElite says anyone who might have been exposed at this facility has already been contacted, and everything the patient was in contact with has been sanitized. Hear from one of their workers now.
Measles is not something that we see, we have seen in several years. The rash was just a very characteristic picture, like I said, that popped up similar to what I remember from the textbooks in school, and that's really how I recognized it.
Now, even though there's only been one reported case in Lincoln, the same can't be said around the country. A recent outbreak in South Carolina isn't showing any signs of slowing down. Between last Friday and this Tuesday, health officials reported 89 new cases. As of today, the CDC has confirmed 416 measles cases nationwide this year, nearly 20% of the 2025 case total. Last year, the U.S. confirmed 2,255 cases and nearly 50 different outbreaks. In total, 3 people have died, 2 of whom were children in Texas, and all 3 were unvaccinated. We have more on this story on our website, 1011now.com, for those symptoms, especially for the standout rash that was just mentioned in that story there, and as well as advice such as the best way to avoid measles being to get those 2 doses of the vaccine that was mentioned yesterday as well in our coverage. But that being said, before we toss things over to Carmelo with a fuller look of your forecast, here's a look of the 7-day.
Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Meteorologist Carmelo Atuka in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. Let's take a look at the Friday forecast. We could see some flurries and some light snow out there this morning, probably even less than what we saw yesterday. Minor accumulation possible, with temperatures dropping down into the low to mid-teens. It will be breezy out there this afternoon as well. As we take a look at the afternoon, we could see decreasing cloud cover, not expecting any snow chance for the most part this afternoon, but only climbing up again into the mid-teens. It will likely feel even colder than that. As we play out Skycast for the rest of today, again, flurries, light snow possible in the morning, and continuing into the afternoon out to the west, but we will see sunshine in eastern Nebraska later on today. We will see cloud cover continue in far western Nebraska during the same time frame. High temperature-wise, we'll be climbing up into the mid to upper teens in eastern Nebraska, only right around 15 degrees in the capital city, 14 in Norfolk and Wayne, climbing up into the low 30s in southwestern Nebraska.
From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.